Come on. Come on. There you go. You're staying in here. You're staying in here now. I am. You're going to sit there, relax, and be happy. For those of you wondering, I'm talking to the dog. Let's look at some scans. I got my notes up. Hopefully it's going to be a quick one today. I probably should just do a quick market scanner. I don't know who's going to tune in. It's 10:45 now in the morning, but we got some good scans. BAC, WFC, Oxy, Coke, MPLX, XLK, which is one I own. Core investments, let's say. VOO. Has a cross up. Core investments. Energy names. I think most people tune in before they go to work. Afternoon, Joe. It's afternoon. Energy names. XLE. Halliburton. OIH. CVX. Shell. Let's see. Levered ETFs. I'm sure there's a couple. UPRO, SPXL, TECL, low cost Vanguard. VOO's the only one, huh? Spider sectors. XLK and XLE already have those. Yeah. US cut. Oh, yeah, you are up there in the Northwest. Let's look at my not owned. Jeppy's a good one. That's one that has like a huge cult following almost. MU, SKT, Adobe. No, nothing else. I'm not going to do Lamb Research. They already had their earnings. Screw you, Lamb Research. All ARC holdings. Beam. It's up 11% today. I think most. There was one stock, I think, that was up like 60%. That was look at all those that are up. I don't want to look at those. We're not going to do those. We're not going risky. I just think, at some point we got to pull back here. WBA, IBM, Dow 30. Where's the NASDAQ 100? There it is. Joe is probably going to be you and like 3 other people. Marvell. Marvell's a good one. EA. That's an interesting one. Sirius XM. PayX, Rost, Adobe. I have a friend who joined who just texted me. Let's see. And FYI, I sound all high and whiny. I'm sick. I'm sick and miserable. Don't get me started on. Wow, there's a lot of S&P 100 that. Ooh, Shitty Group. BAC I already have. Adobe, I have not put in. Philip Morris. Gilead. I'm going to do Shitty Group. Okay, that's it. Morning, Zevin. I have Tesla. What do I have my notes on Tesla? Tuesday's the annual meetings. Topics like, ooh, there's a 6 p.m. by the way. Elon Musk is going on CNBC today at 6. And my guess is he does not want to be interviewed by Jim Cramer because they're postponing Mad Money. I don't know who's interviewing him, but it'll be interesting. But the topic, Cybertruck, 25K compact timing, Highland Model 3 Highland refresh, pricing strategy. They're going to ask him specifically about the pricing strategy. FSD, which is full self-driving. Will Tesla start advertising? Megapack expansion that has to do with utilities. Share buybacks. Once share buybacks actually start, you will see this stock really start to take off. The Twitter CEO decision will come up, and Elon's succession plans with his denial of anything that's going on. So I got to turn on my do not disturb. Focus mode. Do not disturb. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. I'm going to go over a quick one today because I got Lena from Facebook, Sam from Facebook asking questions. You know what? I'm going to move Lena's down here. And we're going to do that one first, then Sam's. I got a pretty good topic, I think, today is the journey of investor finding a stock to invest in. Specifically artificial intelligence. And it won't shock you. I mean, listen, it's going to be a high level view of it. But let's go back to the strategy tester. I don't like that one. Here. Zevin, here's the thing. If I've talked about this 140 price right down here as being the gap that it needs to fill, there is very little, even from a, we can go weekly. There's no gaps here on the weekly. If we move to a daily and we kind of trail it back, I don't even think that gap there has been filled. 138. This one back here at 85. This was the one we were waiting for when back in January, where it just kind of crashed. And I said, okay, it's covered this gap. I think it's coming to this gap. It never made it. And I don't think it ever will. So I think the one gap that you're scared of with Tesla is 148 to 150. And I think I would be scared. I don't currently own Tesla. I am looking to add to it, but I will probably add to it. I haven't added to it yet. I don't think this is a bad time to add to it. From a 4-hour standpoint, the buy was 163. It's coming back down to that price after hitting about 170 in the mid-range. Roblox is down below 40 again. That one, I mean, listen, I didn't take the trade myself, so I can't say, hey, oh my God, you missed out, blah, blah, blah. Meta is up 2%. It hasn't. I mean, AI is continuing on. So, okay, I got the live chat there. I've got this one, and then I've got to do my notes. Okay. I'm going to start this because I got to leave here in about let me see real quick before I no ma'am, I got to yell at the dog Penny. Oh man, Hold on, I got to restart Active Trader Pro. It crashed. Man, I tell you, the problem is Active Trader Pro. It's not my computer. I have and these things just went on sale, the M1 MacBook Pro. Because now they have the M2 MacBook Pro, but the M1 MacBook Pro I think was on sale, clearance. No Penny. Penny, there is nobody there. Penny, back into bed. Do you want to go out there? I'll let you go out. And then the little shit's going to try and come back in. And Zephan, I don't think it's going to crumble. Remember, yeah, I mean, listen, Zephan, here's the thing. You're young. You can take those chances in a fairly big way if you wanted to. I don't think there's anything against that one. Okay, that's not her pushing it. That's not her pushing it. But no, if you're up, just take the profits when you can, man. Just realize you got to take the profits when you can. Don't be upset if it goes to $6 if you take 20%. Be happy that you got 20%. That's the realization. And I think in my mind, I know you started buying Tesla in the 165 to 170. Remember for about 6 months, I told you don't worry about Google when we were buying at 80 and 90. Don't worry about it. Just add. Don't worry about it. Just add. Tesla is the same thing. Boyle is not the same thing, but Tesla is the same thing. Don't worry about it. Just add. Okay. And my notes. Oh, let me look. Enphase for solar and Solar Edge. Enphase. It got a buy in there. And it was up. Enphase for solar. They had their earnings or something was announced. He went from 176 to 220. And Sedge. Solar Edge is back over 300. So if you took the trade, you're in at 10%. Okay. Let me see. Let's look at SPY real quick so I know what we're dealing with. Weekly. We are weekly. In no man's land again. 411. It's just floundering, man. It's ponderous, man. It's fucking ponderous. Okay. I'm gonna hit record. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is Monday, and I decided to do a noontime one. If you want to join Facebook Live, just go over to, YouTube Live. Just hit the alerts. Today I had to drive back from the beach, taking my parents to the doctor, so we got a little bit late start. So it might be a little bit of a different show because I'm going to fly through some stuff. I'm not even going to worry about Enphase, First Solar, or Solar Edge. SEDG, that is over 300. Make sure you take your profits if you followed in there. One of the big things that I'm going to talk about is I listened to a podcast. In the private Facebook group, I posted the podcast that I listened to. It was a masterclass on the Google I/O conference, the Google Developers Conference. And I want to take you through, okay, how was I using that to understand what and why I'm going to invest in, move some money into, blah, blah, blah. I want to take you through that journey. Schwab, we had an upgrade. I'm going to take you through BABA. Is Sonos a buy? A couple listener questions, and then maybe I'll look at a couple of scans, but not a lot. It'll be a rather quick one today. I'll be back tomorrow morning. But let's look at SPY. Where are we? SPY is flat. It's 0.08. It's at 411. It is not moving. It's in no man's land. You still have confirmation. So I don't know where it's going. I have no clue where it's going. Anybody that tells you they absolutely know where it's going, they're lying. Essentially, if you extrapolate a $200 price or $200 earnings target for the year on SPY, on the S&P 500, you're down near 3,400, or 340. So you've got a ways to go down. This market is pricing in perfection. That's why 420 is an absolute top to this market. I am not buying in this market a lot. I am adding to names that I think are good. If you look at the top 5 big tech, they are carrying this market above 4. We would be at 3,500 if the techs were just flat. If, your Microsoft wasn't up 15% in the year, if Apple wasn't up 24% in the year, if Meta wasn't up 80% this year, if those things were just flat, Amazon is up, 15% this year. If those things were just flat, we wouldn't be seeing 410, 411 on the S&P, 412 right now. You'd be at about 390, 380. So just know that's where the money's going. I won't go into too much depth, but this is the weekly chart on S&P. This new candle started out. It still has confirmation. If we lose confirmation under the 9-day, I think then you've got to take your chances on, okay, what am I going to invest in for the downside? What am I going to or trade in on the downside? And what do I have cash around so that when we do get down below this 400 mark on SPY, I can add to my holdings? That's what you want to do. That's the strategy. Let's lead it off with Tesla. Elon Musk tonight at 6 o'clock will have an interview on CNBC. He is not being interviewed by Jim Cramer. I hope Jim Cramer will not be there. I think, on Twitter, he has trolled Jim Cramer many, many times with inverse being his belief. Inverse, just Jim Cramer is small. But Tesla, their annual meeting is tomorrow. It's an annual shareholding meeting. And usually you do get some pretty big updates at this meeting. Now, the problem is that the updates typically bring it to the downside. And I think you're seeing the downside today. It's at 167. There is a gap, I've gone over this. It's from January 26th, where you gapped up. And you gapped up from 148 to 153. That gap has not been filled. There are gaps above it that haven't been filled. Specifically, this one up here at 261, 266, that one hasn't been filled either. So you've got a couple of gaps on the upside that haven't been filled. You got one gap on the downside that hasn't been filled. I went all the way back on the daily. I just don't see other gaps. There is the gap when we were back here in January and we dipped below 100. There was a gap at 85. I don't think you're heading back to that 85. Let's go over some main topics that will be at the shareholders conference. And the management will talk. First big thing is Cybertruck. Cybertruck is, depending on who you talk to, it could be huge. People who are traditionally truck enthusiasts hate the Cybertruck. People who are Tesla fanboys love the Cybertruck. You can't argue with the fact that 400,000 people have put a deposit down to reserve their place in line for the Cybertruck. I had my place in line for the Model 3. I have my reservation for the Cybertruck. I am reserving that reservation, even though I will probably be one of the ones near the front of the line. I probably will not take them up on the first ones that come off the line. Just kind of learned my lesson with the Model 3. I particularly think that, I'll wait a year, maybe 6 months. for them to iron out some kinks. But the Cybertruck is a new vehicle. It is stainless steel. There are a lot of new things that they're putting in this Cybertruck that I just don't want the first one off the line. I took one of the first Model 3s off the line. I don't regret it. It is still a fantastic car. But that launch coming up in Q3. They will start delivering probably in Q4, but there will be updates on that. There will be some questions, and I don't know that there will be updates on this, but the rumor is there's a $25,000 compact car coming. When is that? That's been the rumor from Tesla for quite a while. It's going to be a reduced mileage, probably a city kind of car, but that's kind of where they're going with this, is a more compact, more affordable $25,000 compact car. There will be some talk of, if you haven't heard about it, it's called Highland, and it's the Model 3 refresh. That's coming out at some point in time. The anticipation is it's June, so you'll probably get a fairly big update here. Elon will be asked about pricing strategy. They have raised, it goes over a weekend, and they raise or lower rates on a pretty regular basis. He's able to do this because he doesn't have dealers. He's able to sell online, and they hold to their pricing. For instance, we're thinking of selling my parents' Model X. And if anybody's interested in Model X, I will let you know when it's up for sale. It's a 2020 Model X. Well, I'm seeing it for $70,000. I've asked my Tesla folks. They don't negotiate off that price. We're looking at that. The pricing strategy will obviously come up with what is his thought first. His thought. He's said it before. FSD, which is full self-driving, the autonomy on Tesla, that is where they'll make their money. So once he gets that straightened out, there was a great podcast on AI that I posted in the Facebook group. The second part of that was actually on autonomy, where the guys took GM Cruise in San Francisco. It's an interesting one. GM Cruise kind of drove into a medium while they were in the car. And it got a lot of attention from people around them. Will Tesla advertise? If you don't know, Tesla does not spend a dime on advertising. It's all Elon Musk's Twitter account that does 100% of the advertising. Will they advertise? Is there benefit in advertising? At this point, I don't think so. Megapack, which is, if you don't know, Tesla's in the battery storage business as well, solar, blah, 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 but they sell these megapacks to utilities so that utilities can take renewable energy like solar, wind, even some of the water, hydro, and they can store it in battery packs. And if you didn't know, our grid doesn't handle peaks and valleys very well. It needs to kind of be leveled out. So when you get a peak or a surge, you have to go somewhere for the energy. Well, megapacks do that. Will there be share buybacks? That's the biggest one I'm interested in, because I think Apple has shown when you start to buy back shares, people believe in your company. And if he's buying back at 160, 170, and they start buying back, yeah, you can bet that they think that stock price is worth significantly more. There will be discussions about the Twitter CEO that came out. It came out Friday or Thursday or Friday, I forget. The stock didn't pop as much as I thought, 2-3%. But it'll be out there. There will be talk, and there is talk about Elon's succession and the plan. He wants to go to SpaceX. It's clear he just wants to build rockets. He doesn't want to deal with Tesla anymore. He's dealt with the full self-driving stuff. It is what it is. So I do think that I will probably start to add when it gets back in down towards this 160 to 165 level. I'll start my add back in, but it could pop if that shareholder meeting starts to really go well. My weekly stock pick, by the way, this week is Microsoft. He had a great chart of earnings this week: Walmart, Home Depot, Deere, Cisco, and Target. Those are the ones that he wants to look at. I will look at them probably tomorrow. I just won't look at them today. Walmart, I own. Home Depot, I don't. Deere, I don't. Cisco, I used to own. Target, I've been pounding the table on Target. It has not participated as well as I would have hoped. If you've traded it, kudos to you. Because if you traded and bought in at 140 level, which I think a couple of people did, and you got up here towards the 180 level and you traded it, kudos to you. Nice 17, 20% gain, whatever you got. If you've been buying on the way down, you'll be rewarded at some point in time. This is another $180, $250 stock. I continue to say that. I continue to shop at Target. I'm continually impressed with their stores. But yeah, my weekly stock pick this week is Microsoft. My particular opinion on Microsoft, and we'll go into it with AI in a little bit. I think it's run. I think you're coming back down here below 300 to cover a couple of these gaps. And I'll go into the reasons why when I discuss AI. I just think it's had this crazy run all the way since January at 231. I mean, what's that? Almost an 80% gain up here? 50% gain, somewhere in that neighborhood. It's a great gain. So I don't think it's overvalued, but I do think it's just had its run. The next catalyst is May 17th when you have your ex-dividend date. It's a decent dividend. I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of, 1%? Yeah, 0.88%. They do buybacks. It's kind of the Apple model. But my weekly stock pick is Microsoft again. If you were lucky enough to get into Schwab, they had an upgrade from Raymond James. Raymond James said today it is too beaten down. We had a cross up here. Talked about it, 48.70. And they said they put I got to look at my notes. SCWH is the symbol, but my notes, they put a $63 price target on it. I get it under 50. It's at $50.73. At 63, you're not upset if you buy it. Again, the average price target is still 66. You can see Raymond James market to outperform $63 price target. You can read all about it. I continue to say this is your best bet in the financial space. The other one that had a cross up today, and we'll talk about it in the scans a little bit, is Citigroup. Well, it kind of crossed down, but it crossed right back up. 45 is not a horrible stock, a horrible price for Citigroup. And I say Citigroup, the symbol is C. It's the average target price is 47. You've got a bunch of downgrades. That's back in March of last year. It just hasn't been covered. Piper Sandler initiated their coverage with a $48 price target, and that was in December. But again, the average price target is 57. Its PE is 6. It's not horrible. The dividend is 4.49. Year to date, it's only up 1.63. But a bank that's up 1.63 in this market, kudos to Citibank. Let's talk about Journey of Investor. I have the title, Journey of Investor Finding a Stock. AI is today's buzz. I mean, AI reminds me of the .com back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Pets.com, if you guys don't remember that one, you can Google it. Google Pets.com, early 90s. It was a crazy one. I think it ran from like $5 to like $400 or something. It wasn't worth $400, and then it went back down to zero. I remember that one in particular because I was trading it. But let's talk about AI. I listened to that podcast. I forget what it's called, but it's in the private Facebook group. And it's a half hour, maybe 20 minutes, and it's about the Google investor conference, or not investor conference, developer conference that was held last week. So let's talk about, as I'm listening to that, I am thinking, okay, where am I investing in this? Because these guys are kind of making sense. So I'm listening to the podcast on my iPhone. So I immediately say, you know what? I love Apple. I mean, I'm listening to this. If I want to use AI from Google, Bard, if I want to use ChatGPT, if I want to use the Meta version of their trained language, deep language model, I use my MacBook. If I want to, I'm listening to it on my AirPods. So first thing I say is Apple. And I know I bring this up a lot, but it just makes sense. So, again, listening to this podcast, and I'm just going through the process. If you're listening to something else and you're listening on Google phone, do Google. But if you're, if you're listening to the demise of printed media, just say that. Go with something electronic media, something that's focused on electronic. But again, I'm kind of going over this because I was listening to AI, but I have a MacBook, iPhone, blah, 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 Apple. If you use a PC to go for and train your AI model or do whatever you need to do, or if you use a PC at work and you like it, Microsoft, that's an investment. And we talked about it being a little bit run up. 2 years from now, is 309 crazy? Absolutely not. Long term, no. And with the AI trend, you are going long term with these big boys. With small boys, you're going short term. But with big boys, you're going, and again, I'm doing this top level view. But if you use a PC, maybe you go Microsoft because it's Windows 11. If you're still using Windows 95, probably don't invest in Microsoft because it doesn't make sense. But if you have a Dell computer, use a Dell computer. Maybe Dell's an investment. Here at 45, you're trading at 44.72. If you back here in March at 37, you're doing really well with Dell. Maybe it's an HP computer. Maybe you want to do HP. I think it's HPQ. Is HP. It's not HP. Yeah, HPQ. Hewlett Packard. They haven't done really well. But maybe it's an IBM computer. I think IBM does Lenovo or something. I'm not very well versed in this one, but maybe it's IBM. Maybe you look at those. If you use Chrome on, Google, GOOG. You can do GOOGL. But this is just my mind in listening to this. I'm like, yeah, Chrome, it has a plugin with ChatGPT. Maybe I do Google. If you're using Bing, that's Microsoft. You like ChatGPT on Bing with some of the plugins there. Maybe it's Microsoft. Use Safari like me, it's Apple. Again, pick and choose what you want. What's interesting about that podcast that I listened to is they got really into how they thought Google would dominate AI. And I thought it was super interesting because I was listening. The first podcast I listened to was All In with those billionaire dudes. And they were going off about how Bard is so much better and so much more responsive and so much better information than ChatGPT. So remember, ChatGPT has been trained up to 2020, I believe, 2021, somewhere in that neighborhood. Google's Bard has been trained to look at the live internet. So they were actually looking at things live, and it was giving them pretty good answers. It was semi, bad. If you want to listen to the All In conference, that's where I was listening to them use Bard live. But the actual other podcast that I was listening to, they were going over how Google will be able to integrate and how they will be able to scale significantly better than Microsoft or Meta. So they likened Meta to Linux. So for those of you that don't know Linux is an open platform, open source software operating system. And if you run Linux, whether you run it on PC, whether you run it on Macs, you always have to worry, is this program, does it have a Linux version? And 90% of the time, there is no Linux version. So you can't really use it for some stuff. And that's what they were likening ChatGPT to. That ChatGPT. They were saying that, hey, it's like Linux. It's going to be open software. There's going to be an API. You're going to be able to connect to it, but it's kind of like Linux. It's always going to be secondary. Like, for instance, if you want a spreadsheet, today with ChatGPT, you go into go into one of the bots and you say, hey, create me a tracking sheet for all of my investments or whatever you want to do. you have to copy and paste it back over to some type of template, either an Excel or a Google document or anything like that. Google, on the other hand, will be able, and they have plans to integrate a button that will open it up in Google Documents. And so if you have a Word document, if you have a PowerPoint kind of document, if you have anything of that sort, Google is going to be able to transform you and move you to Google Docs just based on Bard being A, better at the actual artificial intelligence, but B, ease of use. Because most people will not be able to copy and paste from a chatbot over to their programming. I looked at it today. It was funny because I looked at the source code for Excel and how to do that. And it's super, super complicated. If you give me a button, I'm all in. The other thing that Google announced that they will be launching is they will be integrating Bard into Gmail. So for instance, say you want to write your doctor's office to schedule you an appointment, but you don't want to write it out. You say, hey, Bard, get me an appointment with this doctor at 11 a.m. on Monday. My secondary appointment would be 12 p.m. on Tuesday. Bard will write the email for you, and it will be just a button in Gmail. Well, how many people use Gmail? Again, are you using Bing? Were you convinced to go from Google to Bing based on ChatGPT? And are you still using Bing? Or did you revert back to Google? That's the biggest again, personally, I use Google. So I just haven't gone over to Bing. I just don't. I constantly just go over to Google. So understanding who the winners and the losers are is probably just looking at yourself and your own behavior. And what do you use? So Google has not only, they weren't the first, but they've actually gotten better, and maybe they're second. But you know what they have? They have scale. And so even if you're first to market, you still have to scale up. Well, what's Google then going to do? They're going to release it to the masses. They don't have a waiting list like ChatGPT does. They don't put you on hey, we're going to put you in beta. They're just going to release it. Yeah, it's dangerous. It is what it is. But I really don't think there's an opportunity. But again, my biggest thing on this was I want to bet on Google. So I bought more Google stock. I don't want to be left in the dust. So I bought a little bit less of Microsoft, but I positioned my portfolio correctly. My biggest thing was I'm going to use a MacBook. I'm going to use Chrome, and I'm going to use Gmail. I'm going to use Google Documents. I'm going to use Google Drive. So I adjusted my portfolio effectively. I said Google is going to be my thing. So it just gets you into the mindset of you can think of yourself as you invest and you put your money in, what do you use? So it's just kind of took you through that kind of thought process. Let's look at a couple of other stocks, because I think one that I noticed, BABA. BABA is putting in this volume shelf. You can see right here and see these little shades over here on the right. Those are volume shelves. It's putting in a good volume shelf between 80 and 85. It's trading at 87. I think it's going to take off here, like it did back here in March, where you got a nice 20% gain here. I think it's going to take off. If you want to invest in China and you think that China's opening up, BABA might not be a bad opportunity here. I would rather see you in at 85 than 87, but I still think you got a $100 stock here at some point in time during the year. Another one that I think was beaten down disproportionately is Sonos. Sonos is extremely expensive, even at 15. But look, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, maybe a week ago, this was a $22 stock. What happened was they just got beaten down, and now it's on earnings. So they're not earning money. Their forward PE is 44. They had some problems with their earnings, and you can read up all about it. But I do think this one might have an opportunity to come back. Year to date, you're down 7%. I like this one for the fact that I think there were rumors before about Apple buying this when it was 11. If it gets down to that level, make no mistake, I would not be investing in this right now. I would be waiting. The RSI is at 17. It's so oversold. But it's because people are getting out because the earnings were that bad. Does it have an opportunity to come back? I do think so. Again, at my brother's house, he has surround sound with Sonos. It sounds so good. It sounds better than my $5,000 home theater, $10,000 home theater, whatever I paid for that like 10 years ago. It sounds better than that. It is unbelievable. So I think between Baba and Sonos, I do think there's an opportunity there. Where you want to put your money in, Baba is definitely a trade. I think Sonos, in my mind, I think at some point in time, Apple looks at buying Sonos. Sonos speakers are so good. You throw a Siri into a Sonos speaker, and you have that quality of a speaker and that quality of an architecture. Man, it's so good, so good. Lena from Facebook asked me, have you heard of NU stock? Let's see. NU is, we'll look at it. From a chart perspective, great. I mean, it looks like it's gotten all of the confirmation. I mean, it's had confirmation since $4 and it's at $6 right now. I don't know what they do, but let's take a look at what it is. It's a financial bank, diversified. Let's see, provides digital banking platform and digital financial services in Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, and internationally. It offers NU credit and debit cards, ultraviolet credit, blah, blah, blah. I know nothing about this. They are not making money. I would be, their income, they're losing $364 million, and they have a $27 billion market cap. They have a short interest, $98 million. They have 3% short interest. It is up 51%. My guess is this is hype because when people start asking me, have you heard of this one? Blah, blah, blah. She has calls. It contracts $6 call expiring on Friday. Any thoughts? If you made money, get the hell out. I mean, you don't want it to expire at what, $6? I don't know enough about options to know that what the strategy is, but I'd say if you made money, get out. This is a hype play, 100% a hype play. It is 1% below its 52-week high of $5.99. So if while you're up above $6, sell it. Why wouldn't you? That's my thought on options. Absolutely 100%. When you're in the money, you sell. You identify your profit and you take profit. I don't know if it closes above 6 by Friday. I mean, I'm not a future teller and I don't do options, Lena, so it's hard for me to say. I wouldn't buy into this thing because you're 1% above your 52, 1% away from your 52-week high. There's no reason to buy into this 52-week high. There's so many banks that are beaten down and doing business here in the United States. I have a little problem doing, international banking stuff because I just don't know enough about it. Sam from Facebook. What are your thoughts on WEN with all the talk about AI coming in June? WEN is Wendy's. It's Wendy's? Wendy's is my favorite fast food restaurant. Full disclosure. I'd have a Frosty every day if that shit was healthy. It's got a 4% dividend. Year to date, it's up 3%. I think they have one of the best fast food apps. They don't give me enough free French fries like McDonald's does. But you can see March 6th, they buy to downgrade. The average target price is 25 and you're trading at 23. You are 1% below your 52-week high. You are 46% above your 52-week low. Again, my thought on Wendy's, could it go higher? I don't know. I mean, when you're up against that 52-week, do I want to take the chance of a MACD way up here, an RSI at 69, If you got in at 22 and you made your 10% because you're almost at 24, get out. Get out. It'll be back down here at 20 at some point in time. But Wendy's, honestly, Sam, my favorite fast food restaurant. I mean, their fries, they've done so many good things over the past year. Their fries are better. I mean, just the restaurant experience is so much better. And I like the people at Wendy's. Now, I will tell you there are a few Wendy's that are questionable, but I love Wendy's. I love it. I do love it. Scans. I'm going to leave the list of scans in the Facebook group. I'm not going to go over them. I will kind of mention Bank of America is one. Wells Fargo is another. I do think that banks, these big banks, your boy holds Bank of America at about 30. It's trading at 27. I'm down, but I'm in for the long haul. So I know I'm holding this for at least a year. And again, when you enter into a trade, you have to understand. You identify what you want to do with that stock when you buy it. Do not buy, hope, and pray, because hope and pray never works out in the long term. I identified Bank of America as being a good buy at $30, and I bought a good amount. I started, I think, about 20% of my position. So I'm going to add back in as it's here in 27 once it gets confirmation. I don't have confirmation. The ex-dividend date is May 11th. May 31st. The RSI is right now at 43. It seems to be coming back. It's up 1% today. Bank of America 27. I like it. It had the cross up. Probably will give me confirmation in the afternoon at 1:30. Wells Fargo. This is another one. I bought it at 40. I loaded in at 40. Am I upset that it's here? It got you out this morning, but it's going to get you back in. 37.76 was the buy-in. It got you out with a slight loss, 0.72. Just stay in it. Identify it as I identified it as a long term. I'm adding a little bit to it every now and then, but my average price is around 40. I'm down, but I believe that the banking sector is just beaten down a little too much, so I think it's going to come back. Occidental, Coke, MPLX, XLK. We had a buy-in XLK. This is the technology sector, and it's a secondary cross-up. It's just been on a run. I mean, 150, you're only at 151. Look for a good buy-in. The gap here at 144, I think it's going to trend back there. The other spider sector that had a cross-up, which I think might be beaten down too much, and this is a spider sector that I think you could get into, is XLE. XLE down here at $80. It's trading at 78. The RSI is at 39. I mean, you're coming off the RSI up here when it was trading at about $80. You've got a gap. You've got gaps up above this. Now, if we take a look at XLE and we go to a weekly chart, you're still rather high from a historical standpoint. But you're in this ascending wedge. If we break down here, but if we close the week below 77, I would say get out. Just put your stop loss in at 77, get out, because I think you'll probably head down here towards 68, 7, somewhere around there. If I go to the homepage of FinViz, I can see crude oil is trading about 71. Natural gas is way up today, so your oil is going to be way up. $2.33. Gold is up. The Dow is down. You're just kind of hanging flat. So I'll put the list of scans in the Facebook group. So join the Facebook group. Sponsors visible if you're paying $30 a month for your phone bill. Go down below. Trend Spider. There's a link down below. I mean, that's essentially the two things. I'm not going to take up time with that. But if you have any questions, all of the social media platforms are there. You can see them. I will post the video later, and take care. 35 minutes. Good times. Take care. See you tomorrow. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Share. Export song to disk. Boom, boom, boom. Christian, that's the only reason to buy NU is because their interest rates are 13%. But is that interest rates on savings? 'Cause shit. If that's interest rates on savings, Christian, forget about it. I don't want to invest in banking system that's paying 13% on interest. We're having enough problems here paying 4%. Imagine somebody, a bank paying 13% interest on savings. That's just nuts. Move you over to Active Trader Pro. Take a look at the down. Ooh, Tesla. Oh, no, that's Cat. I thought it was. Cat's up there. Cat's moving up 1% today. Tesla's coming back. Zephyr, I don't think you have to worry about your Tesla. It would have been nice to get out up here at 177 and then buy back in, but I don't think you have to worry about it. I'd identify Tesla as a long term. Save. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. Let's go to Safari. Okay, who's got questions? Hit the thumbs up button. Doing it later, man. People just don't tune in. New episode. Browse. Desktop. Podcast. Bum, bum, bum. That sounds like news. We'll do that one. Insert ad. I don't think the dog's here. That was just the wind. Oh, I should be back on regular time tomorrow. Starbucks. I'm back at the Del Boca Vista 55 and older community. Brandon, let's look at Starbucks. I got my dad out of Starbucks. He was like, thank God, I hate that stock. Here's what I know about Starbucks. Their stores don't look that good recently. We were in a couple of Starbucks, and I'm not a fan. I mean, I don't go to Starbucks. I have a shit ton of gift cards for Starbucks in my app. They do the app right. But I gotta tell you, I'm just not impressed with their stores. It's kind of like, here, I gotta post this into the Facebook group. Copy. We're gonna go to Facebook, and then I'll look at W key. Here are the scans from today, as promised. Bum, bum, bum. Post. Lyft is no-go, Isaiah. Here, I'll bring you back over to Safari because I want you to see Lyft. They're not making money. They're losing what? $1.5 billion. They have a market cap of $3.8 billion. They have cash on hand of $4.52 a share. They don't have a dividend. Their forward PE is 17. They don't have drivers that are willing to drive for them because essentially Uber is taking over. Uber is going to be cash flow positive by the end of the year. They are losing $3.3 billion this year. But their sales are $33 billion. Look at Lyft. Lyft only has $4.2 billion. So Uber has a much better opportunity to take money. Uber also has a significantly better base. They're up 54% for the year. The problem is that you're only 2% from your 52-week highs. You're at 38. I said buy when it was down here at 30. I think that's continuing the plan. I think once you get over 40, I think you start to sell Uber. But Lyft, even though the chart looks tempting on Lyft. When's the last time you used Lyft? If you use Lyft over Uber, tell me why. And do your friends. Do a little, next time you're out with your friends, just ask, who's using Lyft? Because everybody I know uses Uber. Uber Eats. Lyft doesn't have Uber Eats. It's down there for a reason. It does have this up and down, up and down. I just think this past earnings was the down for good. I think you'll flutter between $5 and $8. You might go to 10. And at 846, going to 10 would be a good trade. But I don't see the viability of the actual company. Okay, sending you back to Active Trader Pro. Save episode. We're going to go over here. And I'm going to copy and paste. And we're going to go. I'll look at W key for you, Brandon. 2 episodes. We're going to Okay. Copy. Paste. Okay. SPY weekly. Let's see. $5, $15, $23. I'm gonna publish, and then I'm gonna go over to Canva. Projects, and we're just gonna do this one. Oh, stop. What else is? 5:15, and we'll share. Download. We'll go to YouTube. Boom, quit. Upload video. Boom, boom. I've gotten good at this, even though I didn't get any views. I don't optimize whatsoever. I should, but I don't. Upload. Wah. Upload thumbnail from downloads. There we go. And we're going to go back here. I'm going to put this in the title. And we're going to copy all of that and paste it here. And then go down. No, it's not made for kids. Do, 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 do. I gotta jump in the shower. Silenced call. I think the lawyers are calling me. If you didn't know, your boy is caught up in a lawsuit with Earthlink and Charter. And they've told me not to talk about it, but I'm not under any judge's order not to talk about it. So if you want to hear about it, maybe I'll settle that for a podcast. But I don't want either side knowing what I'm going to say, so because they're suing each other for money. Well, your boy doesn't have any money. Your boy needs some money. Throw me some money, and then I'll tell you what I'll say. Let's see. And by the way, we're so screwed. Say goodbye to the stock market. Jim Cramer, an economic wave is about to hit that will be fantastic for investors. Oh boy, we're fucked. We're so fucked. I'm going to close that down. And then I'm not back on. Let's bring you back over to Safari. Okay. Brandon, let me look. WKEY. Wise key. Holy crap, it's up 12% today. Did this one actually reach $4.18 today? I mean, look, Brandon, look at that volume spike. And the 4-hour one, it still got 45 minutes. Didn't you bring this one to me before? This deserves to be on the 65-minute algorithm, but I don't know that even that one would get you in here. Yeah, see, even this one. So here's what it is. If for some reason you knew this morning to buy at $2.12, it got you out here. This is 100% hype. So let's go over. Let's go to the videotape. The videotape is Active Trader Pro. Because we'll be able to see on a 5-minute candle. Yeah, no way. I mean, the only place to actually bet on this one is down. If you have the ability to short, go ahead and short it. It's a micro cap. It's got, on average, 10-day volume, 21,000 shares. Today alone, it's traded 6.4 million. Yeah, but I don't think it has anything. Let's look at FinViz. It's semiconductors. It's hype. I don't see anything. Yeah, it's a pump and dump, it looks like. Yeah, look at. I mean, go to FinViz and look down the right-hand side at FinTwit stuff. How does this go from $3.70 to $2.50? It's because it's a pump and dump. It went from being up, 100% to only being down up 31%, but it'll wind up down today. Yeah, it's Isaiah, hopefully I answered your lift question. But I love investing.com. The pre-market movers were up. Faraday's up there again at 25 cents. Sherry will be happy. I think she has that one. Processing, so it's uploaded. There we go. Let's look at bond rates real quick. Not too much changed. Your 3-month 5.28, 6-month it's up a little bit. I mean, your 9-month at 4.92. You get 1-year treasuries at 4.83. I don't think that's bad. Considering we're you know, I don't think that they're going to raise anymore. Okay. I'm out. Gentlemen and ladies, I am out. I will be back tomorrow morning. Regular scheduled time, about 8:30, somewhere around there. Hit the notification buttons. So take care. Have fun. Enjoy yourself.